Late one stormy evening, Lucas, a young journalist with a knack for uncovering urban legends, was heading home after a grueling day. The rain came down in relentless sheets, soaking through his trench coat as he hurried toward the subway station. His umbrella flipped inside out in the gale, forcing him to toss it aside as he descended the worn, graffiti-laden steps into the underground. Something felt off the moment he reached the bottom. The usual bustle of commuters was absent, replaced by a suffocating silence. The ticket booth was empty, the shutters down. The vending machines hummed faintly, their flickering lights casting long shadows on the damp floor. Lucas frowned. The station shouldn't have been deserted. It was the main line, always busy, even at night. Shrugging it off as a quiet evening, he pressed forward, his footsteps echoing unnaturally loud. The fluorescent lights overhead buzzed intermittently, some flickering on and off as if undecided about staying lit. He checked his phone for the time, but the screen displayed nothing but static. He cursed under his breath, blaming the storm for poor reception, and stuffed the phone back in his pocket. As Lucas reached the platform, he noticed something strange. The posters on the walls weren't advertisements, but old, faded photographs of people. They seemed to follow him with their hollow, lifeless eyes. Beneath each photograph, a single word was etched in bold, faded letters: forgotten. A shiver ran down his spine as a cold breeze swept through the station, carrying a faint, acrid scent of burnt wires. Suddenly, a faint rumbling vibrated through the ground. The train. He stepped closer to the edge of the platform, peering into the tunnel. The train emerged, but it was unlike anything Lucas had seen before. The cars were old, rusted, and covered in grime with shattered windows. Dim, flickering lights barely illuminated the interior. The screech of the brakes echoed painfully, and the train came to an abrupt stop. The doors creaked open with a groan, revealing an empty interior, save for one passenger. A man sat in the far corner, wearing a tattered coat and a bowler hat that obscured his face. His hands rested on a briefcase, his fingers unnaturally long and gnarled. Lucas hesitated, every instinct screaming at him to stay on the platform, but curiosity, his fatal flaw, pushed him forward. The moment he stepped onto the train, the doors slammed shut with a metallic clang, and the train jolted into motion. Lucas turned to face the man in the corner, but the seat was now empty. His heart raced as he gripped a pole for balance. "Next stop, Oblivion," crackled a distorted, inhuman voice over the intercom. Lucas's grip tightened as the train plunged into darkness. The flickering lights revealed fleeting images on the walls, shadowy figures writhing and twisting, their faces contorted in silent screams. The air grew colder, and the faint scent of decay filled his nostrils. Then came the whispers. Soft at first, like the wind, but growing louder, more insistent. They weren't random, they were calling his name. Lucas. He spun around, but the train was empty. The windows showed only darkness, save for his reflection. But it wasn't his reflection. The face staring back at him was gaunt, pale, and hollow-eyed. Its lips moved soundlessly, mouthing words he couldn't hear. The train screeched to a halt, throwing Lucas against the wall. He scrambled to his feet as the doors slid open, revealing a station bathed in crimson light. The platform was lined with figures, motionless, their bodies unnaturally still, their faces obscured by shadows. Against his better judgment, Lucas stepped off the train. The moment his foot touched the platform, the figures turned to face him in unison, their hollow eyes glowing faintly. "Welcome home," they said in a chorus of distorted voices. Lucas stumbled back, but the train was gone. He turned to run, but the platform stretched endlessly in every direction. His phone buzzed in his pocket, and he grabbed it desperately. The screen flickered to life, showing a live video feed of himself standing on the platform. Behind him, the figures crept closer. He turned, but they were gone. The last thing Lucas saw was his phone screen displaying his own terrified face as the figures engulfed him. The phone clattered to the ground, the screen flashing one final message: forgotten. And then silence. The platform lay empty, waiting for the next unfortunate soul.